welcome to your November new moon Vinyasa. I'm Danielle. Today we are channeling some Scorpio energy, and today also marks our official departure from underneath Mercury's shadow. So perfect opportunity to make a fresh start, to set some brand spanking new intentions, and it also feels like some gratitude is in order. So let's take Hero's Pose, Virasana, sit back on your heels, stretch the spine straight up and down, and then gather Pushpaputa Mudra in front of your heart. Cast your gaze down into your palms and contemplate all that you have to feel grateful for in terms of all that you have to offer the world around you. And as you reflect upon those traits, those characteristics, those gifts, allow your breath to deepen. You can create a visual of everything that you are offering showing up as a flower in your palms. Give those flowers some color and some texture. With the mind and the heart and the hands open. Just consider how all of these gifts that you put out into the ethers have a tricky way of coming back to you. So we find this posture we hold as both a physical metaphor for offering and also one of receiving. Let the next inhale take a lot longer to fill your lungs. Let the next exhale take longer to leave your body. And then send that offering forward, up overhead, turn it into a prayer. Pull that prayer down in front of your heart and kiss your shoulder blades together. Good. And then twice more with our breath. So open the palms, inhale them up overhead. Exhale, pull that prayer down to your heart. One more. Warming up shoulders and biceps. Now open your arms and bring your hands behind you to your mat. You can tent the palms or set them on blocks if the mat feels far away. Start to lift your heart and then consider your options here. You can stay as is or bring the palms down onto the mat. If this is feeling super comfortable, we can change that up by stepping one foot at a time onto the mat and then lifting the hips into an altar pose. Wherever you are, let's collectively take a lion's breath. Inhale through your nose. Stick your tongue out as you breathe out. Sink the hips down if they were lifted. Everyone come to a tabletop. Spread your fingers out wide at the top of your mat. Organize your knees underneath your hips. And we'll move right into some infinity loops, warming the hips, the shoulders, and the spinal column. So first, shift your hips over to the right. And then pull on up into the left shoulder. Cross over to the opposite shoulder, and then drag everything back on a diagonal to the left hip. And we'll go again, move to the right hip, to the left shoulder, to the right shoulder, and then back to the left hip. One more time on your own. Start to take your breath into the movement. This time as we shift back to the left hip, we'll sink back into kind of a wonky child's pose. So kind of like you're tipping to the left. Let your head drop between your elbows. Stabilize. And then pull up to tabletop. Sweep your right leg out to the right. Plant that foot. Now so the leg is long, and then send your right hand to the sky. You can drop open if it feels good. Then thread the needle. Wrap the right shoulder down to the mat. Look to the left. Rest the right side of your face. Again, you can use props here too. And either keep the left hand where it is, if that's helping to ease the burden on the right shoulder and hip, or if you want to surrender to that opening, you can wander the left hand forward. Everyone hips high, take one more breath. Good, and then left hand to the mat, peel it on open, stand into the right foot as you send your right hand to the sky or behind you. And then right hand to the mat, let's take a scorpion tabletop. So bend that right knee and pull it back. So we're trying to stack hips here. Stir that hip around. Look outside the right hand and step out wide. Low lizard lunge. And point your right toes towards the top corner of the mat. Stack the knee over the ankle. And then shift forward as you reach the right arm ahead of you. Start to feel a deep stretch on the top of the left thigh. Cool, now we're gonna straighten out the right leg, flex that foot, and then drag the right fingertips along the mat towards the wall behind you. As you do that, think about pulling the right thigh bone back towards the hip flexor, and then circle sweep that right hand to the sky, and we'll come back into our low lizard lunge. Bend the knee, reach the right arm forward. Drag it back as you lengthen the leg, circle around to the sky. Just one more on your own. You can just let the breath flow for now. And come back into your low lizard lunge. Reach forward one more time. Really work it into that hip. And then backstroke the right arm folded behind you. And nestle those knuckles against your left hip. Float your chin above the right shoulder. Just stay for another breath. Unravel to a proper child's pose. Right hand to the mat. Drag the knees out wide. Big toes touch. And pressing both hips to both heels as you rest your head. Have a listen to that breath. Rinse it through. Feeling gratitude for the surface beneath you. Lift up to tabletop again. And this time we'll start those infinity loops to the left. Right? So shift the hips that way, move up to the right shoulder. Cross over to the other shoulder. And then pull everything back on a diagonal to the right. And here we go again, 2 more times. Left hip, right shoulder, and right hip. One more time on your own. And as per usual, as long as you're moving and breathing, you're doing it right. Everybody come into this wonky child's pose on the right hip. Lengthen the arms, drop your head between them. And then lay those palms down into the mat. Come up to tabletop, sweep the left foot out to the left. Raise your left arm, take that twist, drop it open if it feels good, and thread the knee bone. Do what you want with the right hand. Everyone keep those hips high for another breath in, and another breath out. Unraveling again, right hand to the mat just in front of the nose. Sweep the left hand straight up or back, you choose. And then return that hand to the mat. Take your scorpion tabletop with that left knee lifting. Circle it around. And then step out wide, low lizard lunge. Again, toes are pointed out to the left. Move onto the right thigh. Reach the left hand forward. And then we'll drag it back. Flex the left toes, lengthen that leg, circle, sweep the left hand to the sky. Come back into the lunge, rinse and repeat. Dragging it back. And again, just still flowing the breath in a way that feels like you. Move back into that lizard lunge here. Stretch, 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 and then backstroke, left arm to a half bind. Find a subtle twist. Breathe. And then unraveling, we'll take our child's pose again. Left hand to the mat, knees wide. Sink back. Listen to your breath and spice it up with some texture and sound. Light up your Ujjayi pranayama. Another breath in and out. And so bring that breath and your intentions with you, rising to tabletop. Plant your toes. Pull elbows to the ribs. Dip your chest and your chin down. Gazes forward. Now point your toes and slide down as if you're coming into a cobra, Bhujangasana. But as we lift the chest and plant the tops of our feet, reach your arms forward, palms face up. Pull the shoulders back out of the ears. And then swim the arms out wide, either capital T or cactus style, depending on how much space you've got. And then we'll look over to the left and we'll come down onto the right side of the face again. Yeah, so just make sure that the elbows are lined up with the shoulders, whatever you're doing. And then bring your left hand to the mat in front of your face. Tip yourself onto the right shoulder and hip. Alligator pose. Bend the left knee. Step that foot to the floor behind you. Now your left hand could stay where it is, or you could find another half bind. And unravel and come back to that pranam version of cobra pose. Arms reach forward. Swim that wide. Come down onto the left side of the face. Alligator pose. Right hand to the mat, tip onto the left side body. Bend that right knee and find your ground. Once again, do what you want with your right arm. Breath in. And breath out. Unravel yourselves. We're going to come to the belly. Slide the hands back under the shoulders for cobra pose for realsies now. So lift your chest. Lift your knees. And then push up to tabletop. As we come through tabletop, cross your right ankle on top of the left. And then sit back in this kind of awkward hero pose. Hands on the knees, we'll take a lion's breath. So pull the shoulders and the elbows back. Let the heart emerge. Breathe in. And then stick your tongue out. Breathe out. Excellent. Come to boat pose from this place. Hands can come behind you to help you navigate there. Plant your tailbone. Keep those ankles crossed as they come forward and lift them up. And maybe get a grip on the backs of the thighs. Let the shoulders come down. If you're feeling pretty stable here, raise your arms. Stay for a breath. Let your core support you. Good, and then come back to that Ashtanga Namaskar. So that's knees, chest, and chin to the mat. Slide through Cobra, Bhujangasana. As we push back to a tabletop, we'll cross the left ankle on top of the right and sit back again. Lion's breath in, lion's pose. Hands to the knees, take a breath in. Stick your tongue out. Push it back, boat pose, Navasana. Set sail, stay for the breath in and out. Rocking it forward again, Ashtanga Namaskar. Plant the palms, the chest, the chin. Slither through low cobra, Bhujangasana. I'm gonna meet you here. And then plant your palms. You've got a choice here. You can either lift to tabletop or tuck the toes and lift to a plank. Either way, we're going to breathe 3 audible breaths together here. So inhale and exhale. Puff up the space between the shoulder blades. One more breath. From the navel towards the spine. And then from plank pose, you can bend your knees, pull the hips up and back for down dog. From tabletop, I think you know what to do, right? We're going to meet here. Drop your head. And take that dog for a walk if you need to. Once you settle into stillness, internally rotate your shoulders. So it's almost like we're cupping them up and around the ears, kind of blocking the sound. And then soften your knees, pull your tailbone up. Continue to internally rotate those shoulder heads and drag them back towards your hips. Nice. All right, lift your right leg, 3-legged dog. Exhale, low lunge, step that foot between the hands. Soften the left knee down, this is crescent moon. We can untuck those left toes for just now. Float the arms up and catch hold of your elbows. And creating some boundaries here. Hug that right knee inward. Move your elbows deep into your palms. And then tuck your left toes, send the palms to the mat, step back, down dog. Now keep those toes tucked. Roll out to a plank pose. And hover your hips as you pump the heart forward. Upward facing dog. And then the knees, lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Raise your left leg. Exhale, low lunge. Right knee comes down. You can untuck the toes for now. Crescent moon, Anjaneyasana. Find your elbows, find your boundaries. And think about dragging that right hip bone up to line it up underneath the right elbow. And then releasing down dog. And just like before, we'll keep our toes tucked in Urdhva Mukha, upward facing dog. So come forward, hover the hips, press the heels back, send your heart out there. Downward facing dog, bend the knees, lift the hips up, drop your head down. Recalibrate that breath. Lift the right leg on an inhale. Exhale, low lunge. Left knee down, keep the toes tucked in this crescent moon. And use them as leverage for forward fold as you exhale. Send the hands to the top of the mat. Step the left foot up in line with the other and drop your head down. We'll leave plenty of space between the feet. Ragdoll Uttanasana. Sway your body side to side and front to back. And then softening the knees, roll up zombie style to your mountain pose. Pull the shoulders and the ears, let them drip down your back. Gather the front ribs together. And gather that intentional energy back into your breath. Upward salute, sweep the arms wide and high, and then find your elbows again. Re-establish your boundaries, shoulders under elbows rather. Hips under shoulders. Continue to trace those boundaries all the way down to your ankles. And then release the arms straight up, grab a prayer. Soften your knees, drizzle down, forward fold. Set your hands on your mat, step back onto your right knee. Toes are tucked, this is crescent moon. Breathe in. Downward facing dog, breathe out. Toes stay tucked for Urdhva Mukha. Come forward with an inhale. Adho Mukha, downward facing dog as we exhale. Left leg to the sky, breath in. Exhale, low lunge. Right knee down, keep those toes tucked, crescent moon. Forward fold, bring the big toes to touch as you breathe out. Soften the knees, let's sweep all the way up like a reverse swan dive to our upward salute. Find those elbows. Recreate your boundaries. So start pressing the hips out. Lift the inner thighs up. You got it. Anchor through the big toe mounds of each foot and then the center of each heel. Release the arms up, find your prayer. Hinge over the hip creases, forward fold, Uttanasana. Step back onto the left knee, toes are tucked, crescent moon. Downward facing dog, exhale. Toes stay tucked for up dog. Fill your lungs. Come back to down dog, breathing out. Moving into water salutations because this is Scorpio season, y'all. Lift your right leg, inhale. Exhale, low lunge. Left knee down, crescent moon. Now as we move to forward fold, we'll cross the left ankle behind the right ankle and then firmly plant both feet. Press the left knee into the back of the right knee. Rise up in that reverse swan dive manner and find your elbows. Square off. Take a breath. Good, and then release the hands up, find your prayer. Pull that prayer down to the ground, exhaling as you go. Step back onto the left knee, toes are tucked, crescent moon. Now we'll move to down dog with the ankles crossed. So plant your palms, scoop the right ankle under the other. Plant those pinky toes and come forward to our upward facing dog with the toes tucked. And then bend knee inside of knee to pull up and back, down dog. And breath comes out. Left leg lifts. Exhale, low lunge. Right knee comes down, crescent moon. Cross right ankle behind the left, forward fold. Same deal, plant the feet. Press knee inside of knee. Sweep up, reverse swan dive. Find your elbows, square off. And then release the hands up, take your prayer. Pull it down to the mat. Step back onto the right knee, crescent moon. Left ankle scoops under the right ankle for this down dog. We'll keep them crossed and upward facing. Press the heels back, pump the heart through. Bend knee inside of knee to return down dog. And here we flow, right leg up, inhale. Exhale, low lunge. Left knee down, crescent moon, breath in. Left ankle behind the right, breathe out, forward fold. Sweep up, find your elbows as you inhale. Take that prayer down to the mat as you exhale. Step back onto the left knee. Right ankle scoops under the other, down dog. Keep them crossed, come out to your up dog. And then bring it back, downward facing. Left leg up. Step forward, low lunge. Right knee down, crescent moon. Right ankle behind the left, forward fold. Sweep on up. Find your elbows. As you exhale, find your prayer and pull it down to the ground. Come back onto the right knee. And return down dog, left ankle under the other. Keep them crossed one more time in this up dog. And return to down dog. Unravel the feet, step them back. Push up out of those internally rotated shoulders. And find a little gratitude for all the space you've made. Reclaim it. Breathe in. And breathe out. Really good. Lift your right leg. Let's take a scorpion dog here. Peel the hip open. Look outside the right hand and step out wide. High lizard lunge. Keep that left knee lifted. Reach the right arm forward. And then lengthen out the right leg and send the right hand to the sky. Bring it forward and down. Twice more like that. Shifting back, reach to the sky. Come back to your high lizard lunge. Continue to press that left heel back the whole time. You can also have blocks under the hands here if that's more manageable. Now this time the right hand parks and we'll step the left foot outside of the left hand. So stepping out wide, toes point out. Now bend the knees and come down to Malasana squat. We're gonna use our elbows and the thighs here to affect a deeper hip stretch and reclaim that mudra. And reflect. The heels are planted. If they're trying to uproot, you can sit on a block or just lift the hips up until those feet plant. Take a breath. Found those flowers. Now we're going to stand firmly into both feet. Push this offering forward and rise up. Turn it into a prayer and pull that prayer behind your head. Now drag your tailbone down as you raise the prayer straight up. And we'll come right back down, Malasana, with Pushpaputa Mudra. 2 more times. So inhale up and over. And exhale, come back down. 1 more like that. Good, now rise up. Take that prayer behind your head and walk the big toes to touch again. Releasing to a chair pose now. Bend your knees. Press your shins forward and release the arms. Slide those shoulders back and down. And let your tailbone just drop to neutral. Breath in. Yeah, breath out, forward fold. No one wants to hang out there all day, right? Let's step the right foot back to a lunge and then step your left foot back to plank. Now rock to your tippy toes. Bend your elbows lower halfway, chaturanga. You can also lower your knees. Come to the tops of the feet for this up dog. Roll the heels towards each other. And then roll over the toes, down dog. Scorpion on the left side. Bend and open. Square the shoulders. Step out wide to the left. Yeah, and then here we go again. Left arm forward. Lengthen that leg, send the left hand to the sky. Come forward and down again. Open it up. 1 more time. You're pressing that right heel back. And this is our Malasana. Left hand comes forward and down. Right foot steps outside of the right hand. Find that offering. Stand into both feet. 3 times we lift it up. Send it overhead. And exhale right back down to Malasana, palms open. Inhale up and over. Drag the tailbone down as the thumbs find the nape of your neck, and exhale, come back. One more time. All the way down. Good, and then lift yourselves up. And walk those feet to touch. Nice, palms reach to the sky. We'll sit in chair pose. Just take a breath in. Let's see if we can go a little lower. And then exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Left foot back to the lunge. Right foot back to plank. Shift it forward, lower down halfway. Urdhva Mukha, roll to the tops of the feet. Adho Mukha, retreat back. Pull your heels together. Bend your knees out wide. Look outside both hands. From this kind of frog dog hybrid, we'll find our Malasana again. You can step there or float. You choose. And now that we're here, we can play with an arm balance called flying frog. If you'd rather skip this, you're more than welcome to. But if you want to come along on this trip, plant your hands, pull your elbows towards your ribs, so very much like chaturanga, and then wrap your thighs around your upper arms. Now we're going to use some thigh pressure to keep the arms in alignment. So hug those elbows in, keep squeezing those thighs, and then flex your feet, see if they'll leave the mat. Really cool. Gazes forward, collarbones are wide. And then land those feet. Take your mudra. Pull it up to the sky and walk the big toes to touch. Thumbs find the nape of the neck. Exhale, chair pose, Utkatasana. Take a breath in. Exhale, forward fold. Adding a halfway lift now. Hands to the shins or onto the mat. Whatever helps you to stretch your spine out. And then plant your palms, bend your elbows, look forward. You can step or float back, chaturanga. Follow your heart. And I'll meet you back in down dog. Breath flows in. Breath flows out. Take that scorpion dog. Cross under the body with your right knee and tap your left elbow. Good, and then scorpion dog. And we'll take the right knee out to the right shoulder, flex those toes. And now three-legged dog, lengthen and square off, and step to your low lunge. This time plant your left heel and rise up to warrior one. Stack the right knee over that ankle, find your elbows. And as we pull the elbows deep into the palms, drag that left hip bone forward as if you're trying to stack it underneath that left elbow. Really good. Breath. All right, now open the arms and lengthen your right leg. Lift those toes up. Kiss those shoulder blades together. And come to an extended warrior from this place. Bend your front knee. Return your hands to Pushpaputa Mudra. You can hug the elbows in and just gaze beyond the fingertips. Keep that right knee stacked over the ankle. Open your arms wide. Clasp your hands together behind your back. Lower down, devotional warrior. Now we've created room around the hips, so move that right foot out to the right if you need more clearance for the shoulder. Seal down the outer edge of the left foot. And just let the knuckles fall into gravity. And then let your hands fall down to the mat and step back down dog. And you can stay here or move through a vinyasa, rolling out to the tippy toes in plank, lowering halfway, opening the heart, and coming back to down dog. We want to keep the breath steady because that's where the intentional energy lives, right? So back off if you need to. Left leg up and over. Left knee crosses under to the right elbow. Scorpion dog again. Left knee out to the left shoulder, flex those toes. Three-legged dog, lift and lengthen. Exhale, low lunge. Plant the back heel. Warrior one, rise up and find your elbows. Aligning hips and shoulders. Seal down that right foot. Find what you need. And then break it all open. Lengthen the left leg. Fly the arms, float the heart. Flex that left foot. Extended warrior with Pushpa Puda. Really putting it all out there, yeah? Seal down that back foot. Swim the arms out wide. Clasp your hands together with the other thumb on top. You'll know when you get there because it feels weird. And then surrender to your Bhakti Virabhadrasana, devotional warrior. Find your breath. And release your hands to the mat. Step back, down dog. Again, stay here or flow through a vinyasa. More and more, staying true to you. Okay, right leg lifts straight up and back now, so three-legged. Exhale, low lunge. Warrior one, find your elbows, breathe in. Break it open as you breathe out. Extended warrior as you inhale. Devotional warrior, exhale. Here's a little change up. We're gonna release straight up to warrior one with the arms floating high. Everything in alignment. And then breaking free, take a rainbow warrior. Bend into your left knee. Turn to the left. Take your right hand to your heart. Now the right leg is long here. Toes are flexed. But do your best to keep that knee soft and sweet. Look up at that left hand, reach it higher. Really good. Now bending into the right knee again. We'll swoosh around to a peaceful warrior. Sound effects encouraged. And move into that right hip and soften both shoulders. Take a breath. And then float a down dog any which way you'd like. You can float a leg. You can get a little air time along the way. Just really set yourself free. Again, we've got a fresh slate here today, so reinvent yourself. Left leg up. Exhale, low lunge. Plant that back heel, come up. Warrior one, find your elbows. Exhale, fly it open. Inhale, extended warrior. Exhale, devotional warrior. Inhale, back to Virabhadrasana, so float the arms straight up. And then take that rainbow warrior into the right knee. Left hand moves to the chest, right hand reaches for the sky. The rebending into the left knee, we find our peace. Swoosh it around. Perhaps clear out that auric field along the way. Move into the left hip. And then release your way to down dog again. You can take those one-legged chaturangas. You can add a little hop. You do you. On the other end of the spectrum, child's pose is also a welcome addition to any vinyasa. Breath in and breath out. Right leg to the sky, inhale. Exhale, low lunge. Plant the back heel, find your elbows, warrior one. Next breath out, break free. Inhale, extend. Find your mudra. Exhale, find your devotion. Inhale, warrior one, arms float high. Exhale, rainbow warrior to the left knee. Inhale for peace, back into that right knee. Now meet me here. We'll take this first one nice and slow. I want you to lengthen your right leg and then parallel the feet. Wander your left hand down towards your left ankle. Take a deep side body stretch. Gaze under the right elbow. Lift out of the left side body. Okay, good. Now turn all 10 toes to the back of the mat. Bend your left knee and move right into side angle pose. Utthita Parsvakonasana. And you can use your left arm on your thigh like I'm doing, or you can drop that hand down towards the mat. Pull your tailbone towards your right heel. And then peace out, fall back, breathe in. Move to down dog like you want to, starting with this breath out. Facing the back of the mat, in case that isn't clear. I'll meet you here. And we'll make a full trip around the sun. So right leg up, inhale. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale, rise up. Find those elbows, warrior one. Exhale, break free and lengthen. Now inhale, adding on here from our extended warrior. Hop up onto the right leg, warrior three. And you can keep that mudra snuggled against your torso. Continue to gaze down into your palms. Consider again what you're putting out there. And feel it in your body. Lift up out of that right hip. Press back through the left heel. And then bend the right knee. Step back onto the left foot. So we're planting that whole foot. Really good. Open the arms, devotional warrior. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, rainbow warrior to the left knee. Inhale for peace into that right knee. Exhale, extended side angle. Pivot the toes to the top of the mat and drop in. Now you'll meet me here and we'll add a little half bind. Hold the right arm behind your back and see if you can get a grip on your left thigh. And then rotate the rib cage so you can float your chin above your right shoulder. Now you can stay here or thread the left arm under and take a full bind. You can also do that with a strap between the hands or even a scarf. And give yourself some functional tension even if the hands aren't quite connecting. Just another breath. Good, and then release, peaceful warrior. Let the blood flow back to the arms, and then you can flow like you back to down dog. Shortcut or scenic route. All are welcome here. Breath out. Really good news. We have another side. So left leg up. Exhale, low lunge. Plant the back heel, find your elbows, warrior one. Exhale, fly it open. Inhale, extended warrior. Exhale, devotional. And lift back up, warrior one, float the arms. Exhale, rainbow warrior two, your right knee. Take your peaceful warrior back into the left knee. And again, we'll spend some time on this first side. So lengthen the left leg, turn those toes to the right so the feet are parallel. Walk your right hand down the outer right leg. Doing our best to keep the hips in alignment as we lengthen and open space between the ribs. And then point all 10 toes to the back of the mat. Bend that right knee. And come down into your side angle pose. So again, the arm can be on the thigh, or you can drop that arm down so the hand maybe grazes the mat. Just another breath. Come up in that peaceful warrior. And then flow to your down dog. Any which way you'd like. Let's make our way home, left leg high. Exhale, low lunge. Plant the back heel, find your elbows. Breathe in. Exhale, fly open. Inhale, extended warrior, and then exhale, launch that warrior three. Gaze down into your offering. Find your breath. Lifting out of that left hip. Activate the right sole. And then bend that left knee. Step back and plant the right foot. Seal down the outer edge. Open the arms, clasp the hands, devotional warrior. That's the way. Flying up, warrior one. Exhale, rainbow warrior, right knee. Inhale for peace, back into that left knee. And then exhale, we pivot. And we find that extended side angle at the top of the mat. Take a half bind. Left arm behind you, see if you can find that grip. Give yourself some breathing room under that side of the rib cage. Stay with the half bind or explore the full bind. What does your breath have to say about the choices you're making? And how does that apply to the intentions that you're setting? Just another breath. And then release, come back, peaceful warrior. And flow back to down dog with or without a chaturanga. That's always an option. Sometimes non-arangas are just the ticket. Breath in and out. Really good, lift your right leg. Exhale, low lunge. Plant the back heel, come right up to warrior one. Take that rainbow warrior to the left knee. Take that peaceful warrior to the right knee. Now changing things again, lengthen that leg, parallel the feet. And then begin to point those toes to the back edge of the mat. Press the right heel towards the top edge and come to triangle pose. We're just gonna trickle this left hand down towards the ground. You can rest it on a prop, on either side of the foot. And this is an extended version of our triangle, so we're reaching the right arm just like we did in our side angle. Over the ear. Rotate the left side of the ribs up towards the right elbow and tuck your chin slightly. Lengthen by pressing the right heel to the mat and then pull the crown of your head forward. Now drop the right hand down and walk everything to the right, Prasarita. A straddle fold, press the heels out. And rest here as long as you need. And you can even rest your head on a block if that feels right. Good, now we'll lift up halfway eventually. Keep the left hand parked underneath your face for just now. And then raise the right arm into a twist and turn it into a half bind. So we're just parking that forearm to the low back. Walk the feet in a bit. Good, now thread that left arm underneath the left thigh and see if you can connect your hands. And this again can be done with a prop, with a strap or even a sock in between the hands. And we're gonna walk that right foot underneath the right hip. And you can definitely do this while using your prop. Rise up and take your left leg with you. Bird of paradise. At some point you might lengthen that leg and look over the right shoulder. Activate those left toes. And when you're ready to come down and land, do so carefully, with awareness and with intention. Take some more time in Prasarita to neutralize. And then lift halfway. Turn to the top of your mat right into a low lizard lunge. Point the toes out, lower down onto the left quadricep. Bend that knee, reach back and see if you can catch the foot in your hand. Now, if you don't make this connection, no big deal. You can just come forward and down onto your forearms and chillax instead. If you're in the twist, do your best to release the weight of the left leg into your right hand. And roll onto the knife edge of the right foot if it feels good. Looking over that right shoulder, just another breath. You have that option to move right into a restorative lizard on your forearms as you come out of this place, or come with me on a little arm balancing trip to Ekapada Vinyasa, hurdler's pose. Move your right shoulder underneath that knee, get a grip on the ankle with the right hand and stir the hip around. And this might just feel good enough to namaste all day with. I took my first bike ride in 2 years, the day before yesterday, so this feels kind of like the nectar of the gods right now. But to move into the arm balance, sorry, I digress, you can plant your hands, use these chaturanga arms underneath your rib cage, and then tuck the back toes and lengthen that leg. Now you can stay here or lengthen the right leg forward. Stay there or kick off the left toes. And then we'll come out of this right into a scorpion dog. We'll stir that hip around and then consider flipping to a wild thing or to a half wheel, which involves planting both feet, bending both knees. Pelvis goes to the sky, Heart drops wide open with that right arm. And then navigate around to your down dog your own way. So inhale that left leg high. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale to your warrior one, arms float high. And exhale, rainbow warrior to the right knee. Peaceful warrior into that left knee. And then parallel the feet. Lengthen out both legs. And we'll move into our triangle pose with an extension. Notice what you notice. Let that left hip flare out a lot. As you locate the subtle twist, lengthen your way into it. And then release Prasarita. And this time, plant your right hand under your face, raise your left arm to a twist. Find that half bind. Walk the feet closer together. And then thread your right arm underneath. And see if you can make that connection. And we'll gradually come to stand on the left leg. We'll take the right leg up with us. And again, you can do this with a strap or even a sock between the hands. Eventually, you'll lengthen out that right leg and maybe look over the opposite shoulder. Find your breath. Lift out of that left hip. When you're ready to come down, do so slowly and compassionately. Unravel those wings and rest your head. This time you might take your hands behind your back and interlace the fingers. Rinse your shoulders. And press the heels out. And drop the hands to the mat, lifting halfway. And we'll turn to the top of the mat right into this lizard lunge. Lower down to that right quad. Bend the knee and catch the foot. Investigating that hurdler's pose if you're into it. And if not, you can just come down onto your forearms. But it starts with a stir. Hold on to the ankle as you circle the hip. Let that shoulder move further and further beneath the knee. And then if you want to move forward, find those chaturanga arms. Tuck the back toes, lengthen that leg. Maybe lengthen the left leg. Maybe kick off the right toes. It's all stages, right? Scorpion dog. Stay or flip to a wild thing or a half wheel. Lift away from the right shoulder, whatever you do. And then come to your down dog. And let's meet here. Awesome, right leg to the sky. Exhale, low lunge. Keep the left knee elevated, rise to a high lunge. And we'll take that prayer overhead and bring it to the back of the neck as we sink into the front hip. And then slice that prayer up, around to the right, revolved lunge. Lift your heart right up to this place where the thumbs meet. Shift the weight to the right foot. Step the left foot to meet the right, revolved chair pose. Finish out your twist. You can open your arms. You can take another arm balance. You've got lots of choices. And again, let the breath be your guide. And then meet me in a forward fold. Uttanasana. Space out the feet and take your peace fingers to your big toes. Padagustasana. Just let the head fall between your thumbs. And let it wobble. Really good. And then slowly keep that grip on the right big toe, but move your left hand to your left hip. And soften out both knees. And we'll come up and we'll bring the right foot with us. Good. And then lean back when you get here. And press that foot forward. You can do this with a strap too. We'll open the left arm. And we'll open the right leg. Lifting out of that left hip, find your breath. Utthita Padagustasana, upward yogi big toe hold. All right, now pull it back to neutral. I want you to really pull that thigh bone back to the hip. Release the right arm wide. Eagle pose, cross the right thigh over the left. Sweep the right arm under the left. Line up your elbows and your knees and go deep. You can tuck your right foot behind the standing leg or just let it hang in space. Just one more breath. Good, and then unravel yourselves, upward salute. Stretch long. And exhale, forward fold, pull it down to the ground. Half lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Plant your palms, step or float back, Chaturanga. Move with your breath. Feeling more and more like you. Left leg to the sky. Exhale, low lunge. High lunge, rise up. Take that prayer behind the head, sink into the front hip. Press the right heel back, and then slice that prayer up and over to the left. Revolved lunge. Good. Shift the weight forward, lift your heart, and then step to your revolved chair. Sink the hips below the heart and keep the knees in alignment. Lift your navel to your spine. Do anything you need here. Arms can open. You can take that side crow arm balance if it's calling to you. And then again, we'll meet in forward fold, Padagustasana. Get a grip on those big toes and drop your head down. And swivel your head to the left and to the right. And just let it fall heavy from there. Nice. And then other side, right? So keep that grip on the left big toe. Move your right hand to your right hip. Bend both knees. Rise up and bring your left foot with you. So again, if you have that strap, you can wrap it around or loop it around the sole of the foot like a stirrup. And then we'll lengthen the leg and lean back. And we'll open that left leg to the left and right arm to the right. Keep pulling up out of that right hip. Another breath. And closing it down. Drag the hip back. Release the left arm. Eagle pose, left thigh over. Left arm under. Center elbows and knees. Get low and breathe. Unravel, upward salute. Stand on both feet. Sweep your hands to the sky. Come down, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. And exhale, get to down dog your way. Once we get there, we'll lower to our knees and sink into puppy pose. And with the hips high, we're giving ourselves a gravity-assisted heart opener. You can rest your chin or your forehead. See what feels best on your neck. One more breath. And then slide forward onto your bellies. And we'll find a locust pose. Squeeze the thighs and lift the legs. And then drag your elbows back as if they could touch. So the palms float. Lift your heart and gaze forward. You can stay here or swim the arms back like wings. You can also interlace the fingers. And then manually lift your heart a little higher. It's real difficult to talk in this pose, so we're just gonna breathe. One more breath. And release your hands, make a pillow out of them, and rest your head there. You can bend your knees and windshield wiper the legs. And then let those legs drop. Slide your hands back under your shoulders. Lift yourselves up through tabletop to hero pose. And let's take our mudra and reflect again. If currents are changing, if your thoughts are drifting towards a different intention than the one you set at the start of this practice, follow that. And breathe out. And breathe in. And invite in some fresh ideas. And breathe out the stale ones. And send that offering forward. Pull it up overhead, thumbs to the back of the neck. Okay, we're gonna shift over onto the left hip and bring both legs out to the side. Doesn't matter which side, but keep your left knee bent for just now, and we'll gather up the right leg and start to cradle it between both arms. And begin to explore some more, so you can take that leg out long to the right, maybe switch it to the other hand. At some point, you might start to work your knee over your shoulder again, kind of like a little backpack. As if this is a normal way to behave, right? We're not here to be normal though. So this is the precursor to another arm balance called Ashtavakrasana, or 8-angle pose. Most yoga poses are named after animals or things like mountains, but this is named after a sage who was born to a lineage of sages, and also had a body that was broken, and he 8 places. That's the folklore. But he became a very revered yogi. As a portal into that accomplishment was gratitude, right? Acknowledging what he had to work with and going from there. So if you want to take this arm balance, we're going to take the right ankle over the left. Take those chaturanga arms. So the right hand is planted to the mat just inside the left calf. Left hand is out to the left. And then we squeeze the ankles together and lengthen the legs out to the right. So the hips will leave the mat. And you can come down and land and try that on the other side. So take the left leg. Again, if this is just feeling especially nice, stay with this. Then you can start to explore all dimensions in your own gratitude. And then eventually, we cross at the ankles, left hand plants, right hand plants, and then squeeze those thighs and send the legs out to the left. The hips will lift. It's a great party trick, right? All right, come into a cobbler's pose, soles of the feet to touch. Walk your hips back. And we'll pull the elbows towards the hip bones and let the heart lead the way forward and down. Options, you can set a block to the floor to rest your head there. You can also slide the feet out slightly and rest your forehead to the arches of your feet. And walk the hands up. Just another breath. Come up to a seat and extend the legs out just until it feels right. And flex the toes. We can bring the hands behind us. If you know you want one, you can set a block in front of you and guide your forehead and or chest down towards that prop. Keep flexing the toes. Slow it down. The hands can reach out to the feet. Sinking your hips towards the mat. Another breath out. Slowly bring yourself back up to a seat. Sweep the right leg to meet the left, so both feet are at the back of the mat, and fold over them. Hashimottanasana. Your knees can bend, or you can deepen the stretch by interlacing the hands at the soles of the feet. Let's all stretch the spine long, so lift halfway and pull your heart towards your toes. And then let the head sink back down as you breathe out. Rolling up to a seat. We'll come down into fish pose. Matsyasana is our heart opener. So sit on your hands. Palms will plant to the mat. And you can plant the feet if that feels like it gives you more control. Squeeze the elbows towards each other. Lower to your forearms. And then lower the crown of the head to float above the ground. And you can point the toes and send them to the sky. Just another breath. And lower down to the back of the head. Liberate your hands. Palms face up on either side of the hips. Waterfall pose. Just nourishing the heart. Letting the circulation flow in that direction. And bend your knees and plant your feet. Now, if you've got your blocks, I'll set us up in a very supported kind of bridge pose, which can also function as a supported heart opener. So one block could work on any height setting. I'm going to use 2 blocks because I plan on moving into the heart opener. So if you're going to take that trick with me, I recommend stacking 2 blocks on their low setting. And everyone can arrange their props just at the sacral plate, so this bony plate above the glutes and beneath the small of the back. And so you've got this supported bridge. Now, if you're on your singular block, I always recommend stretching the legs out and giving yourself a sense of what levitation might feel like. If you're on these 2 blocks and you want to take this deeper kind of heart opener, also quad stretch, take one foot and slide it top down next to one side of the block, and then do that with the other side. So you're going to squeeze the thighs together and immediately recognize your quadriceps. Give them a little thank you for all that they do for you. And then we can take the heels of the palms into the arches of the feet and lift up to our elbows. Keep squeezing those knees together and slide to the top of the head, but there's little to no weight on the top of the head. We'll continue to add a little pressure to the feet. It's acupressure, this is good stuff. And then at any point you can bring the elbows back down and just relax and chill here as long as you need. And when you're ready to come out, slide back down to the back of the head. Release the legs up. You can do this on your singular block as well, to a slightly more elevated, kind of like Niagara Falls. I used to teach this pose in hot yoga classes. That was often a very literal sensation. Receive, breathe, and exhale. Lower your feet, lift your hips, slide those blocks out of the way. And we'll move right to a little constructive rest. Slide the feet to the edges of the mat, let the knees knock together so the pelvic bowl can hollow out. Open your arms and windshield wiper the legs side to side. Taking a really easy twist here, drop both knees over to the left and look over to your right hand. Now you can deepen this by setting the left ankle on top of the right thigh. And we're gonna find a little more light shining through between the pelvic bone and the base of the ribs on that side. And then release back to your constructive rest and windshield wiper it out. Let the knees drop to the right. Look to the left. Deepen at your leisure. Releasing. This time we'll move into a happy baby. Lift your feet and catch them, and then stand into your hands and pull your tailbone forward and down. With the back of your neck continue to drop towards the earth. And then rock this one out. Slow it down. And we'll start to close this party down. So the legs will float up like waterfall, and then bend the knees. Pull them to your chest. Now I want to give you the option, if you're digging the legs in the air, you can reposition yourself and rest your legs up a wall. If you'd rather take the classic Shavasana, I'll walk you through that. So gather the knees, lift your forehead to them. Take a deep breath in and hold that breath in. And then exhale, release to your Shavasana. Take up space. And as you take the next breath out, I want you to hold it out for 3 counts. And then inhale for 3, 2, 1. Pause the breath, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. Hold this breath out, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 5. Pause for 5. Exhale, 5. Hold the breath out, 7. Inhale, 7. Pause at the peak for 7 counts. Exhale, 7. Hold the breath out for 5. Inhale, 5. Pause for 5. Exhale, 5. Pause for 3. Inhale, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. Pause here just a beat. And then inhale like you want to. Exhale like you want to. Yeah, relish this experience of fully giving and receiving. Using your breath as that metaphor. And this is the best bit. So marinate in your Shavasana as long as you can. Allow that in intentional energy that you've stirred up to flow in and out with your breath, harmonizing with your environment, passively participating in that energetic exchange of giving and receiving. And when you are ready to take that energy off your mat and out into the rest of the world, you can begin to breathe more and more on purpose and bring some life and movement back to your body. Take a full body stretch. Press up to a seat. Spend some time in a seated position and bring that handful of flowers back in front of your heart and gaze down into your palms. Check back in with what you're offering, keeping the mind and the heart open to any changes that have occurred over the last hour. And then we'll breathe in deep together through the nose, as if you are blowing wishes into the wind. Exhale through your mouth. And we'll send all of that good stuff out there. And then bring your hands back overhead, turn them into a prayer, and pull that prayer down to your heart. And this is where you can close your ceremony your favorite way. If you haven't already, light a candle, maybe do a little bit of journaling, say some ohms, ring some bells. You do you. I'm going to take an audible breath, so breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth with sound. And lifting all this heart energy up to my head space, plugging my thumbs into my third eye, just so I can let you know that the light in you inspires me and humbles me, and I'm so grateful for it. So keep on shining, witches. Namaste.